Hey everyone, thanks again for tuning in to Sin's Workshop. Hope you're having a great day. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Given by Nandy Taylor. I wanted to like this book. In fact, I loved it until we met the male character. I really didn't like him. So the novel follows Yenna. She's from a tribe. She's a princess of her tribe. And she's an excellent fighter. She's excellent with rune magic, and she leaves to go to another land that kind of looks down on her. I mean, you can kind of see the racism aspect of the story. So I really did like how she was an African American character. She's going to this land of, I guess, European whiteness. And she's going to academia. She gets accepted to academia. Great. She shows everyone she's an amazing fighter. She's there to learn a different type of magic so that she can save her ailing father or find a way to help her ailing father. And I think that makes her very commendable as far as a character goes. There are also dragons. If you know me, I love dragons. Look, dragons. I have a lot of dragon stuff. Lots of dragons. Dragon tattoo. Dragon earrings. I love dragons. I did not like Wyesh, and he's a dragon. These dragons kind of work the same way they do in the Dragonlance series. They can take human form, and they have a very high social status, which is great. Awesome. I really did like this aspect of the story. I thought it was interesting. I just hated Wyesh as a character. I hated him. And I don't think he deserved Yenna at all. So they meet. He is so intrusive. He's in his dragon form. He licks her. He's like, she's my given. And I hated this. This is why I couldn't enjoy the movie. Not movie. This is why I couldn't enjoy the novel. Because he's telling everyone, she's like, oh, she's my given. And everyone's like, yeah, but what does she want? He's like, she doesn't have a choice. She's my given. We're meant to be together. He doesn't it takes him so long to make the effort to get to know her. And it takes way too long for me. Because, God, I hated the language. I think that's what I hated most about the story. It was written by a female author. She does the female character so well, but I feel like this guy, he is the most sexist guy in the novel, and it really pissed me off to just kind of read him and follow him, and I didn't want to. I was so turned off by his personality, by his tone, by his perspective. Once again, people are just like, well, who is this girl to you? She's like, she's my given. And they're like, okay. And she's like, she doesn't have a choice. She's my given. It was very objectifying, this tone. It was very possessive. It was just highlighting a lot of what's wrong with this story. He just doesn't view her as a person. And they're like, well, what are you guys going to do when you get married? He's like, of course we're going to get married. Because everyone keeps questioning, like, maybe you should. I did like this. I did like how everyone was saying, you really need to learn how to talk to her better. Like, you really need to know how to get to know her. Everyone's pushing him. He's just kind of stuck in his head, like, I don't need to bother with any of that stuff. She's my given. We're meant to be together. She's my soulmate. And everyone's just like, yeah, but it sounds like she doesn't want to be. And he's like, well, too bad. So they do ask him, you're like, okay, well, if you get married, what are you going to do? And she's a princess of her tribe. Her family is everything to her, right? He's like, oh, well, we're going to get married. She's going to have my kids. You know, womanly duties. That's a direct quote. Womanly duties. It was a really big turnoff for me as far as the story was going. And I couldn't get past it. I couldn't. It really did fall into that Beauty and the Beast trope where the beauty brings out the best of the beast. And I get it. I know. I'm a huge Beauty and the Beast fan. Love Beauty and the Beast retellings. Can't get enough of them. Oh, but how I just didn't like it, how it was done in this novel. And I think it really does connect back to the tone of Wyesh, and that's the name of him. He hasn't had an easy life because his mother slept with the Dragon Lord. It was kind of just like, God, what's the name of that movie? Where the dude has to do like, oh, I'll give you this much money to sleep with your wife, and then they kind of start a relationship. Ooh, tip of my brain. Tip of my brain. Bugging the crap out of me. No, not Fatal Attraction. That's something else. I can't remember. Sorry. But you know what movie I'm talking about, right? Where the really wealthy businessman asks his, employee, like, your wife's beautiful. I'll give you this much money to sleep with her. God, it's killing me that I can't remember the name of this movie. It's like, right. But whatever, that's kind of what happened with Wyesh's mother. She did it to save her husband's own business. And her husband he understands, he doesn't resent her for it or anything. He loves her. They have a really loving relationship. However, he's not very kind towards Wyesh, and you can kind of understand why. She kept the baby kind of because she wanted to, well, one, she wanted to keep her son. Two, she also wanted to highlight a very big problem in society, like, these men in power are taking advantage of us. Do something. Unfortunately, her bringing it to light didn't really do anything because she wanted to end the relationship. But, of course, the Dragon Lord started to blackmail her. And, she was honest with her husband about it. So Wyesh's whole backstory, it's kind of not an easy one for him. So you can understand it. However, given who his father was and given how much he hates his birth father, his entire attitude just doesn't fit with that. You would think he would be a little bit more humble, a little less sexist, because he respects his mother greatly. He respects his sister greatly. He loves them. He's not sexist when it comes to them. In fact, he doesn't even seem sexist with his ex-girlfriend who he breaks up with. He's like, yeah, I'm at my given. So, and she's like, oh, okay. She's like, well, good knowing you. You can tell she's sad, but within the dragon culture, having a given is really just something that is something you can't fight. So she understands it. But, oh my goodness. I really couldn't get behind Wyesh as a character. He doesn't deserve Yenna because she's a fierce woman warrior. She knows her shit. She is empowered. She's like any man tell her what's what. And I like that about her. And of course, Wyesh has to tutor her with magic, so that's where they get to bond, and that's where he finally gets to know her and learns to be respectful of her. But it takes too long for that to happen. And I just didn't like the tone. I didn't like the tone at all. In fact, I just kind of started skipping his perspective because I didn't care for him as a character at all. And I really do think that that is what hindered that's what hindered my enjoyment of the novel, is what I'm trying to say. That is what hindered my enjoyment of the novel, because I just couldn't get behind it. I just didn't like it. And I think she can do much better. Granted, her prospects back home weren't that great either. I don't think she needs any man. So, her prospects back home weren't that great either. She was betrothed to a prince of another tribe. Wasn't that great? She does want to marry for love, and I'm glad that she gets that. I just wish Wyesh wasn't the guy. I hated him. There, I said it. I hate him. I didn't like him at all. But you know what? That's just me. Maybe I just was thinking too much into it. Maybe it was just like prickling my nerves because it's really popular on Wattpad. So maybe it's just me. Probably just me. So, honestly, he was the only thing I didn't like about this book. Overall, I enjoyed the storytelling. I enjoyed Yenna's perspective. I enjoyed her personality. It was just him. He was the only thing that I didn't enjoy in this entire novel. So I'm going to go ahead and give Given a soft 3.5 stars, just because, again, I hated the romance part of the novel. I hated the male character. I really did. I just wasn't feeling it. Nope, not one bit. But again, that's just me. If you want to go ahead and purchase the book, I will include a link in the description below to purchase it on bookshop.org. Bookshop's a great resource for bookstores because guess what? Your purchase helps support local bookstores. And if there's a local bookstore nearby you, you can select your money to go to that specific bookstore. And I think that that's great. I love it. If money is too tight, please check out the book from your local library. Or, once again, this is a Wattpad book. You might be able to find it on wattpad.com. Read it there if you want. But please try to support the author in any way that you can. Just because I wasn't a huge fan of this novel does not mean that you will not be. And on that note, I hope you all will continue to support me by hitting that like button, subscribing to my channel, and sharing this with all your book-loving friends. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And as always, happy reading.